Let's be honest, rising living costs have squeezed many Americans, whether they're trying to rent or buy a home. Housing affordability and the ongoing crisis were hot topics leading up to the election, with both parties promising solutions. After Trump's election, some bold statements and proposals on how to address the housing crisis has emerged. Now, we touched on this briefly back in December, but now as we're near the end of January, Trump has wasted no time implementing executive orders, one of which specifically focuses on the emergency housing relief. Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning into another episode of Rooted in Reading. I'm Faith Bear, your local guide to everything happening in this beautiful city I call home. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as we share weekly updates on Reading and the real estate market as a whole. And if you're planning to buy or sell in 2025, I would love to be the expert in your corner. So how can Trump's executive order lower housing costs? On January 20th, he released a statement on the White House website addressing inflation and housing affordability, dubbed the Emergency Housing Relief Initiative. And it begins with this bold claim stating many Americans are unable to purchase homes due to historical high prices, in part because of regulatory requirements that alone account for 25% of the cost of constructing a new home, according to recent analysis. Now, one powerful way to lower home prices is bring more inventory to the market, but it's a balancing act of how do you cut unnecessary cost without compromising quality. When I posted about this a few months ago, there was a lot of discussion around whether cutting regulations would mean cutting corners. Personally, I am not for sacrificing quality, but I am for eliminating unnecessary expenses while maintaining high standards. One local builder commented on my post saying, as a builder and a developer, this could help bring a more cost-effective product to the market without sacrificing quality. For a standard 2,000 square foot home, it cost me over $40,000 in fees. California building codes change in the past 3 years alone have added 15 to 20% to the cost of a new home. And another story making the rounds involved an LA architect who discussed his concerns for rebuilding after the recent devastating fire in LA. He shared that while permits used to take him 6 to 8 weeks back in the day, it now takes longer to obtain a permit than to actually build the home itself.
We're all talking about just the same thing. It's all going to start with our architects and engineers. But what we're really concerned about are our municipalities, and that's where we're really going to need to switch gears somehow. We all agree that we could get our communities back together in 2, maybe 3 years, if we're allowed to. In the old days when I started out, we were getting permits for houses in 6 to 8 weeks. And now it can take 2 to 3 years to build a house that it takes me a year and a half, 2 years to build. So it takes longer to get permits. And I'm speaking Los Angeles, Malibu. It takes longer to get permits than it does to build the house. So we've got to switch gears on that. And it's not complicated. We can do it.
Realtor.com recently highlighted a 2021 National Association of Home Builders, basically NAHB, analysis showing that regulations account for 23.8% of the cost on an average new home. So that's about $93,870 on a $397,000 home. Now, these costs are split between land development, which is 10.4%, and construction, which is 13.2%. And over the past decade, regulatory costs have risen steadily, increasing from about $65,000 in 2011 to $93,000 in 2021. Now, in response to Trump's executive order, the NAHB expressed strong support, emphasizing that overregulation has become a significant barrier to building attainable homes. While federal actions like streamlining energy efficiency standards may help, most regulations are controlled at state and local levels. So without incentivizing local governments to adjust their policies, federal efforts will have limits. If successful, though, these measures could reduce cost, increase housing supply, and provide relief so long as they carefully balance affordability with safety and environmental standards. Trump is also doubling down on his anti-regulation stance with several bold initiatives aimed at tackling inefficiencies and reducing housing costs. He announced the creation of the Department on Government Efficiency led by Elon Musk to review federal agencies and eliminate waste. A freeze on new federal regulations is also in place, signaling a hard reset for housing-related policies. Additionally, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, aka HUD, is also undergoing a massive reset under newly confirmed Secretary Scott Turner, who aims to maximize HUD's budget and roll back policies deemed to be inefficient. According to Now BAM, while regulatory cuts aim to lower housing costs, Trump also proposed 25% tariffs, aka taxes, on Canadian and Mexican goods, setting to take effect February 1, which could introduce new challenges. In the past, tariffs on Canadian softwood lumber added nearly $9,000 to the cost of a single-family home, and increased costs for imported materials could offset the savings from reduced regulations. Additionally, broader trade policies may drive up fuel and construction expenses, impacting builders and homebuyers alike. While some experts believe Trump's tariff strategy is more about trade leverage than a full-scale trade war, the short-term effects on the housing affordability remain uncertain. Another part of the Emergency Housing Relief Initiative focuses on restoring purchasing power. Trump's administration claims that regulatory policies under Biden added nearly $50,000 in costs per household, while Trump's first-term agenda reportedly cut those costs by $11,000 per household. Now, it is believed that those don't just reflect housing regulation, but also include energy costs and other contributing factors. In his statement, Trump outlined key priorities, including lowering housing costs and expanding supply, reducing unnecessary administrative expenses that drive up healthcare costs, addressing policies that raise the cost of home appliances, like the transition to all-electric appliances in your stove. I'm not sure really how much that's going to help, but maybe it helps some. Creating more job opportunities, including drawing discouraged workers back into the labor force, as well as rolling back coercive climate policies that could increase food and fuel costs. He concluded by ordering federal agencies to report on the progress of these measures every 30 days. Now, while executive orders can't override state or local laws, they can create pressure for alignment with federal priorities. I believe the federal government's greatest impact might come from reducing broader costs like energy, food, and fuel, which could indirectly improve housing affordability and ease financial strain overall. Now, there is no detailed step-by-step plan just yet, but this initiative will certainly be something to watch as it unfolds. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, and like I always say, whether this election was a victory or a disappointment for you, let's keep the discussion respectful. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more insights on Reading and the real estate market as a whole. I'm Faith Barrett, your local guide to everything happening here in Reading. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next episode on Rooted in Reading.